All right, man. Torture Talk After Hours. You know what it is, man. So look, we're gonna check in with my boy Jay Nolan here. Um, this is getting crazy. Rory and Maul has been called out by Elliott Wilson. So we want to see what Elliott Wilson is saying, man. You know what it is. Torture Talk After Hours. Let's get it. All right, man. So let's go.
About the state of affairs in hip hop media, the artists not wanting to come sit or talk or have any real conversation, and how it's ultimately impacting the uh, the overall landscape of the music, etc. So we've got a quote up top that says, "All you podcasters and media personalities, you don't want to talk about Cardi album no more. Nigga, you signed up for the gig. I don't care if you are Maul or Fat Joe, you don't get to conveniently not have an opinion." He goes on to say Drake sitting next to Bobby Altoff was the beginning of the end. You know, the first interview, not the one that they have coming up.
All you podcasters and media men, you rappers that turn media men,
I'm a
y'all
radio
want to
guy.
act like y'all are media men. We're all this. You had your dream come true. We're all the same motherfuckers. We're the same. Elliott's journalism thing means nothing. Rob Markman means nothing. Jeremy Hex means nothing. You're a podcaster. You're a former rapper. You're all media men. I'm a media personality. I'm not a journalist, and I don't want to talk about Cardi's album no more because, nigga, you signed up for the gig. The gig is the gig. You barely can talk to artists. They want to know what you think about everything. We're doing the same goddamn thing. You want to call yourself a former, I'm still an artist. I'm a media man. I'm a podcaster. I'm a radio personality. I'm a journalist. Like, we're in the same gang, motherfucker. We're in the same gang. My nightmares come true. We're in the same gang.
Hey, you know what?
We're on the same thing.
Whenever you crash out, you sound
It's
like
the same thing.
You sound like you just got off the subway.
So I see this like
same game, motherfucker.
I don't care if you're Maul. I don't care if you're Fat Joe. I'll name names. Your opinion does matter because that's the platform. Your audience wants your opinion on things. You don't conveniently get to drive like I'm not qualified. I'm not a journalist. We have the mics. We're all talking. We're doing the same thing. We're all the same media men and women.
I'm a media person.
We all, and so am I.
I 100% agree with that. 100% agree. I think that a lot of these rappers who turn podcasters, they're jumping in this space because their music isn't working for them or they just ain't doing music like that anymore. But they want to tiptoe around what it really is. You can't tiptoe around what it really is, man. You really got to do this. You really got to do it. We be out here every day, all day. We talking like Kiss, me, DeVille, Jalopy, Moni, who else? Marcus at work, Dupley, who was that? Fantastic Hip Hop, down to Helsing, and even the top dudes from No Life Shack all the way up to all of them dudes, man. You know what I'm saying? Screwface Gene, everybody, bro. Showface News, Chink Smooth, bro. I'm trying to tell you, y'all can't just, in my opinion, y'all can't just walk into this space and then they be like, well, I don't do none of that. Nah. It is what it is, man. You gotta talk, like you gotta do it. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of y'all want to pick and choose who y'all want to react to and review to, because y'all don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Well, guess what? This is the job you signed up for. You got to do it. If you don't like something, you got to be able to say it. But that's the problem with a lot of this stuff now. You can't really say that now because now you get out here and you say you don't like something, then people they'll get their fans not to watch your show. It's crazy. That's why I don't like, me personally. Hey man, I get to say what I want. I'm free. You know what I'm saying? If I don't like something, I don't like it. Whether you get your fans not to like it or not, hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I know there's a couple other people I've missed. Company Man, Deleted. It's a bunch of people, man. I'm gonna think of some more too.
So is Jeremy. We're all the same thing. So don't try. Like, you see, there's no more respect for the journalist anymore.
I have respect. First episode of The Bigger Picture. We sit 60 episodes in.
Yeah.
Over a year. I said first episode. I don't consider myself a journalist. I respect journalism.
You said around 50 you might. We're 60,
Maybe, but I don't think I'm there. I don't think I'm qualified. I still respect journalism. So no, I'm
But
not a journalist. Kiss my ass.
Bobby Altdorf is media. DJ Head is media. Jeremy Heck
I'm
is
media
media.
for sure. I'm
Elliott
not a
Wilson is
journalist.
media.
I won't consider her a journalist, though.
No, it doesn't matter.
I know what you're saying. We're all in the same
We're
bucket.
all media.
I know I understand exactly what he's saying. He's saying that if you got an opinion in this space, you shouldn't be picking and choosing who you want to talk about. I understand exactly what he's saying. And listen, man, I know a lot of y'all have this thing with this girl. I don't know why. I have no clue. Why? I don't know. She ain't covering hip hop. Why do y'all care? You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. And if it's that easy for her to come in and cover hip hop, then maybe it's something we doing wrong.
Everybody says what it is media. So let's you slowly. I told you niggas this was happening. I told you early on.
You did.
El Stradamus, nigga. I told you Drake sitting next to Bobby was the beginning of the fucking end. I told you Nicki's twerking on Kai Cenat's crib was the beginning of the end. Y'all didn't want to listen. Y'all want to tear me down. Elliott's just hating. Things change, old man. Adjust. He's just hating. Now everybody want to have a pity party because somebody who's more beloved in this space got attacked out of nowhere for no reason. And everybody wants to act like, let's show grace to journalism. You ain't got no motherfucking grace for journalism.
DJ
Y'all don't
Head
give a
does.
fuck. It's all lip service. The
DJ
people
Head
don't.
does.
The people don't. The industry does it. The artists don't.
So basically,
That's a fact. I ain't even gonna lie. He ain't tell no lies right there. That's a fact. That's a fact, man. And truth be told, it's been like that for a little bit. Y'all kind of I'm be honest with you. A lot of y'all let this happen. A lot of y'all let these things happen because when you had the streamers crossing over into hip hop, and then the hip hop artists now running to the streamers because they want to grab their audience. It's like if you are a part of the hip hop ecosystem, you don't really need to grab anybody else's audience. But the thing is, a lot of streamers, their audience isn't a part of the hip hop ecosystem. It isn't. Some of them, but not most of them are not. They don't even know half these artists. They don't even listen to music, to be honest with you. Most of them probably just play video games and they listen. They don't even care. I've seen people say that was on streamers that they didn't even know who Kendrick Lamar was. Because they don't really listen to music. They play games. I mean, and it's weird to say that, but that's just what it is. That's what it is.
Elliott Wilson has been predicting the end of hip hop journalism, the end of hip hop media being really taken seriously. And this is something that he pushed back against years ago, you know what I mean? But a lot of people, once again, called him a hater, said he was the old man, need to get out the way. And I've even criticized some of his outbursts and crash outs on my channel. I still stand by some of those things because I think, unfortunately, you're kind of in a lose-lose situation, right? It's tough to see the world that you used to exist within kind of become no more. And when you go out kicking and screaming, you're never seen in a positive light because it's just like, dude, the world has passed you by. Get with the times. You know what I mean? It doesn't stop for anybody. On the opposite spectrum, while it's happening and that's what you're seeing and you're calling it and you're able to see like, yo, this thing is going to dry up if nobody wants to take it seriously from the people on the mic, taking the job seriously, taking the platform seriously, taking the opportunity seriously, taking the coverage seriously, being responsible with what it is or what you won't put out. To even the artists, you know, being willing to go on people's platforms, talk about the music, get into the creation process, talk about where they are in their life, actually connect with the fans, because that's something that's very much missing in music these days, is because a lot of artists don't want to do interviews anymore. They don't want to get clipped up. They don't want to be going viral for something they said about one person, or that be the focal point of the whole conversation, whereas a whole hour of other talking points get overlooked. So it's a fucked up game in totality.
That's the truth. Ain't lie about that. I definitely understand exactly what he's saying, because a lot of artists out here really are scared to do interviews now. They're scared to do interviews because what happens is people deliberately take things out of context. They deliberately do it, and they'll cut it up, and then what'll happen is they'll create a narrative, and even if they know it's not true, because people are just malicious, they don't like you, they'll put it out there, and then when you prove that it's not true, you'll say, "Yo, you lied on me. Why would you do that? You said this, and it really wasn't even like that." You know what they'll say? "Oh well, so I don't care," because that's what people nowadays. I seen it happen, bro. I seen it happen in politics. You know what I'm saying? I seen people literally say that someone said something, and they will promote just that. And then when you go look it up, you literally go look it up, you realize that there's 20 more seconds after that. That kind of just totally debunks what they were saying. And I think a lot of artists out here, they're very afraid to get on here and say something. Look at Doechii, right? Let's just take Doechii for example. Doechii came out and she said what she said about men, right? Everybody went on her head. Everybody was on her head, jumping on her head, jumping on her head. You know what I'm saying? But that's how she felt. But everybody was on her head about it. It was people saying, "I'll never listen to her again." You know what I'm saying? There's people saying that. And I didn't like what she said either. And this is the reason why a lot of artists don't want to do interviews, because they know that there's going to be something that someone's going to ask. And when they do ask it and they say something that is going to get their fans riled up, then you already know what's going to happen. They're going to end up what? End up mad. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
But when you have the people at the top of the so-called food chain foregoing those opportunities, it does have a trickle-down effect, right? But what I will say to Elliott is, for the artists out there that really want to get a message out, that really have something to say, that actually want to connect in this time frame, I think we're going to start seeing more people doing sit-downs. If anybody's been paying attention to the clips and how they rolled out their project, that was a masterclass in connecting with audiences. They sat down with hip-hop platforms. They sat down with late-night platforms. They sat down with fucking, New York Times, CNN, not CNN, but fucking daytime television. Like, they covered the whole spectrum, and they stayed.
Well, I understand exactly what he's saying here, but I don't know if that's the case. I don't think that these hip hop artists is going to do that. I think that the clips is something different. I don't think people are going to follow their model. I think the clips, they respect it. Them dudes are respected. And when they walk around, they respect it. People respect them dudes. I think that if artists do this thing here, move around, they're gonna go where they're gonna get softball questions. They're gonna go somewhere where nobody's gonna really ask them the hard questions. You know what I'm saying? See, the clips don't care. They don't care. They're already made men. They don't care. Some of these artists that's already made, like a Nicki Minaj, she ain't sitting down with nobody. And it's just my opinion. I don't know if the Nicki's actually like this, but in my opinion, she believes she's too good for all this stuff. Like artists like her, artists like Drake, they don't really want to mess with hip hop media like that, because they know what comes with that. Hip hop media, for the most part, is good, but there are a lot of people in hip hop media who like to cause controversy, and they want to ask the questions, not necessarily the tough questions, but they want to ask controversial questions because they want to get clicks, they want to get likes, they want to get people to watch the video. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. they want that. So who knows?
Consistent in their messaging. They stayed on brand. They didn't necessarily code switch. Like whatever it was, whether it was Pusha T happy to get out of the Def Jam deal, to talking shit about Travis Scott, talking about the Ye situation, talking about his exit from Good Music. These are the things that people wanted to know. It had been a couple years since Good Music had dissolved, and people were like, yo, how does Pusha T feel about this? What led him back to, do the clips? How did Malice come back? What was on his mind? Because he said he would never do it. He had been declining all types of opportunities for years to do clips. And we saw how the culture responded to these guys. We saw how the culture responded to their personalities being fully on display. So honestly, to counter what Elliott is talking about, I think if anybody paid attention to what that was, especially in the hip hop space, you're going to have to try to do something similar. You're not going to be able to fully duplicate it, but you're going to have to get your ass out the house, out the studio, off the fucking couch, and come communicate with some people and let it be known where you are today. We even see Scarface doing Club Shay Shay. I don't think Scarface even got no new music to drop. He's like anti-dropping new music, but he did an interview with Shannon Sharp though. Why? I don't know.
Well, the reason, and I understand what he's saying here, but the reason you're gonna get this whole dynamic with rappers at least trying to do that is because a lot of rappers ran out of ideas and they don't really know what to do. That's why you see a lot of rappers converting into podcasting and talking, because it's easy for them to make money. It's easy for them to get people to watch. But the problem is they don't have no consistency. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a hard job. Doing this is very difficult. And what I mean by difficult, it's not difficult to talk. See, I don't have no script. I just go off the top. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the people, they don't know how to do that. And I don't have a production team. I don't have none of that. Most of these people don't. They have to have a whole studio. They want to do all of these different things to try to build up this thing. Have a bunch of lighting and buy $4,000 or $5,000, $10,000 cameras. You don't need all that. You really don't. You just need a voice and a vision. That's it. You don't really need all that. But they're going to do that anyway because that's what they're used to. They're used to these big budgets. And plus, a lot of these artists know that if they was to do that, they can keep that money for themselves. It's easy money for them. But again, when you're dealing with people like the Clips, it's a little bit different. I don't think a lot of these artists know even how to even have an interview. I think most of them, they so stuck in the streets and they so stuck in, like, I remember when I seen Wallow and Gilly do an interview with Little Durk and all of them. You know what I'm saying? And to me, it looked weird. Even though I appreciated it, it just looked weird. You had a bunch of niggas standing up and he's out here talking, which is fine. But it wasn't an interview, in my opinion. That was more like a life lesson. You know what I mean? Some interviews could be like that. Who knows? But I don't know. But either way, thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all go to Jay Nolan channel, subscribe. Shout out to that brother. See y'all on the next one. I'm out of here. Torture Talk After Hours. Peace. Bye.